Somewhere beneath the soil of a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, lies a secret that has swallowed fortunes, ended lives, and defied explanation for over 2 centuries. Most people know Oak Island as the home of an unsolved treasure mystery, but what very few people talk about is a single coin, small enough to fit in your palm, that may have just shattered everything historians thought they knew about who was here and when. This is Hidden Doctrine, and today we go beneath the surface. The area known as the Dunfield Spoils sits just south of the infamous Money Pit, the epicenter of one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the Western world. In 1965, a man named Robert Dunfield launched an aggressive excavation of the Money Pit, using heavy machinery to tear through layers of earth that had protected its secrets for generations. He found nothing, but in his failure, he left something behind. Massive mounds of displaced earth, dumped down the hillside and never properly examined. For decades, those mounds sat undisturbed, forgotten, written off. That was a mistake. When researchers finally turned their attention to the Dunfield Spoils, they weren't expecting much. These were, after all, the leftovers, the dirt nobody thought was worth a second look. But history has a way of hiding in plain sight. A metal detector swept across the ground, a signal fired. Sharp, clean, non-ferrous. Something small, something that didn't belong to the earth. What came out of that soil was a coin, worn almost beyond recognition, but silver, pure silver. The coin was rushed to the lab. Scientists ran it through CT scanning and X-ray fluorescence analysis, technologies capable of reading what the naked eye cannot. The results were immediate. The coin was confirmed to be 87% silver, well above the threshold to be classified as a genuine silver alloy coin. Not a token, not a replica, a real coin. But what came next was the moment that changed everything. Researchers cross-referenced the faint markings still visible on the coin's surface against historical coin databases. The lettering? Partial but present. The profile on the reverse? Worn but unmistakable. It was a sixpence. English. Minted during the reign of King William III. Date range? 1697 to 1701. Let that date sink in. The Money Pit was first officially discovered in 1795. That is the date every historian, every researcher, every documentary has anchored the Oak Island story to. This coin predates that discovery by a full 100 years. Now, here's the question that nobody wants to answer out loud. Who was on Oak Island in the late 1600s, and what were they doing there? Common people in that era didn't carry silver coins. Silver was for the wealthy, for merchants, for nobility, for people with something to protect, or something to hide. The coin opens 2 terrifying possibilities. Either it belonged to whoever originally deposited the treasure, placing the burial event nearly a century earlier than assumed, or it belonged to someone who came after the burial, a searcher operating in total secrecy long before the world knew the Money Pit existed. Either answer rewrites the timeline of Oak Island entirely. There's something profound about an object this small carrying a secret this large. A coin, smaller than your thumb, buried under mounds of displaced earth that everyone else walked past for 60 years. history doesn't always announce itself with grand monuments or dramatic revelations. Sometimes it waits, quietly, in the dirt, waiting for someone stubborn enough, curious enough, driven enough to look where others didn't bother. That is exactly the spirit that drives Hidden Doctrine, because the most important truths are almost never the ones handed to you. They're the ones you have to dig for. Oak Island still hasn't given up its deepest secret. The money pit still holds whatever was placed there, possibly centuries before anyone admitted to looking for it. But a 300-year-old silver coin found in forgotten soil just reminded us of something important. The search is never really over. The story is never really finished. If you believe history is hiding more than it's showing you, you're already thinking like we do here at Hidden Doctrine. Subscribe, hit the bell, because we're just getting started, and the next chapter goes even deeper. Sempre avanti. You do not stop. And scene. What secret do you think is buried on Oak Island? Drop your theory in the comments below.